My body, my choice is one of the most demonic movements in society, in Western society today. And it is an example of selective activism. We're going to be talking about all of that because a lot of people right now are upset about the decisions surrounding Roe versus Wade in the United States. And a lot of women are acting crazy as if like they've lost every right to do what they want to do in this world, which is not even what's just happened. So we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about why this whole my body, my choice mentality that a lot of women are having today is extremely problematic. Okay, so before I get into it, guys, if you do enjoy the video, please like it, please subscribe, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Listen, guys, your girl is being real, and I don't clickbait nobody. So the only way people are going to see my videos, the only people are going to hear what I got to say is if y'all support what I'm doing, because I'm not trying to trap people. I'm just trying to keep it real over here. You know, I could be making some wild claims in my thumbnails, but I choose not to because I want to keep it real with y'all, because y'all keep it real with me. Let's talk about this. So I'm going to tell you why this whole my body, my choice thing is extremely demonic in my opinion, and just destructive. Let's talk about the destructive element, because a lot of people, when they hear about stuff like spiritual related stuff, they just switch off. Let's talk about this from a logical perspective, right? We'll do logic. I have a degree in chemistry, okay? I'm a logical gal, believe it or not. Maths and science is my thing. I love it, right? Let's think about this. As a woman, if you're saying your body, your choice, and therefore that's why if you decide you don't want to have a baby, you shouldn't have to have that baby, right? Cannot a man then exercise? Let's say you're now married to somebody. Let's say you decide to marry somebody, now you get to have those children by choice because you made the choice for your body. Does that not give the man automatically a reason and a justification to not be around for that child, to not help that child, to not father that child? How about all the single mums out there complaining, and your dad is a deadbeat, and your dad, he ain't this, and he ain't that? Well, how about this? How about the fact that us as women trying to act like childbirth and anything to do with children only has to do with us, even though, yes, we are God gifted us and an absolute honor, the privilege of bringing children into this world. But listen, as we like to say, as a lot of single mums like to say, as a lot of people like to say, it takes two to tango, boo-boo. There's another person who has a 50% right to the decisions being made about that child. And this is one of those things where I feel like in society, again, because you become so over-feminized, we're like, yes, let's run with this. This sounds amazing. My body, my choice. It's all about me. It's all about what I want. It's all about myself. But then in reality, it gonna backfire. Because guess what? You might not want to have children now. Okay, let's say you want to have abortions now because you're not ready to have kids. Now you're with a man and you are ready to have kids. What happens if he says, oh, your body, your choice. You chose to get pregnant. This is your pregnancy. This is your child. I'm not involved. What are you going to say then? Is it still going to be my body, my choice? No, because isn't it funny how a lot of women turn around and be like, well, we made this baby together and it takes two to tango. And this is why this stuff doesn't add up. This is why the logic, the math ain't mathing. Okay, the science ain't sciencing there. Right? And I really think that it's so annoying how us women today are really abusing the gifts that the Lord has given us. God did not give the privilege to women to bring children into this earth for us to now run around like everything is about us, like we want everybody to worship us. And it's honestly disgusting me how much like us women are like trying to be worshipped pretty much, and nothing can touch us. And yes, we, don't get me wrong, I'm right there with you. There are rights and things that we didn't have that we needed to fight for, and I'm glad that we did. And guess what? I believe even biblically, a lot of those things, God would have been right there with us, okay? The women in the Bible, they had money. They were making money. You know who was funding Jesus's whole ministry before he died? It was women. Did you know that? But you didn't know that. Did you know that in the book of Proverbs, it talks about the woman, the Proverbs 31 woman, right? All the Christian people love that example. Guess what? She was making cash money. She was a businesswoman. She was an entrepreneur. She was a girl boss. So a lot of that stuff, I think, is good that we fought for that. Amazing. I believe the Lord is right there with us. Like, yes, I'm getting justice for my daughters, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes we take it too far. And again, with this whole Roe versus Wade thing, if we can be honest, can I be honest with you? This is another example of selective activism in society today. And I'll tell you why. Because this Roe versus Wade thing, people are acting like as soon as this decision was made, no one in the whole of the United States is able to have an abortion. That's not the case, ladies and gentlemen. The case is now each state gets to make rules for itself, right? That's what was really going on here. And I think this is something, if you're really about activism, if you're really about the rights of people, that's something you should be for. Because I'll tell you something, I have a lot of different things that I want to do with my life different to a lot of people in the world. And I'll tell you something, I will always fight for the right for everybody to do what they want to do, because that's your God-given right. God gave us all free will. So it's not my job to tell you, even though I'm against abortion personally, not to say that I would judge somebody who has had an abortion. I'm just saying I don't believe in doing that, right? I'm not gonna, that doesn't mean because I disagree with it that I'm saying somebody else in the world shouldn't be able to do that, because that's your right, that's your free will. God gave you free will, right? However, in the same notion that you have the free right to do that, I also have the free right to be against it. I have the right to do that. And if different states in America, like, I don't understand how this is not the most logical solution. It's like the same thing I said to you guys before, and we had all of this uproar about, you know, trans athletes and so on and so forth. And I said, listen, the best thing we can do is create categories where we can all be okay with what's going on when it comes to things like sports. So rather than having the big mess that happened with that, I can't even remember the name of the trans woman who did the, I think it was the NCAA, whatever it's called, I can't remember what it was, but the one who did the swimming thing, I wish I could remember. I did a whole video about this as well. But instead of, it ended up being a whole thing because the women who are women as assigned at birth were upset that this person then won, right? That person won, and they won basically because all the activists were fighting for it. And so nobody was happy. And then that person ended up getting even more backlash, even from the people they were competing with. Whereas if we'd all just said, you know what, I'm going to respect that you don't agree with me and how I identify and what I'm going through, but I also respect your differences. Let's create an environment where we can all do what we all need to do. We didn't do that. Instead, we always sway to one side. And that's my problem with the law of activism today. That's why I don't classify myself as an activist. If I'm an activist of anything, I'm an activist for free will for all mankind, for everybody. Everybody should have the right to do what they want to do. That's what I believe, because you know why? It's not my job to judge what you're doing. It's not my job to judge your convictions. It's God's job. So you deal with the Lord. The Lord will deal with me. He'll deal with all of us, right? I'm going to get some things right, some things wrong. We're all going to do that, right? Facts are, he gave us free will. That's freedom. That's supposed to be the free will and the free rights and the freedom that's written into the Constitution in the United States of America. So the fact that a lot of people are getting so upset as if like we've just had some horrible thing happen just goes to show how selfish and how selective activism is prevalent in Western society. Because in reality, all it's saying is now, guess what? If you go more to one side, you can go to certain states. If you feel more to one side, you can go to other certain states. I think that's incredible, because we're not always going to all agree on anything. And that's why I honestly think unity, the way we envision it in society today, doesn't exist, because we don't all feel the same way. We don't all think the same things. Some people feel especially convicted about like killing animals for food. Other people do not feel convicted about that at all, right? Some people feel convicted especially about killing babies or abortion, even if it's at the early stages. Other people don't. So are we going to all sit here and try to get onto the same playing field when we're probably not going to, because we're all unique, we're all individual? Or are we going to say, let's create an environment where we can respect everybody's perspective. If you believe this, you can do that there and you can do that here. But isn't it interesting how a lot of the activists today, they're not out here looking for free rights or the right to whatever. They're looking for everybody do what I think. And that sounds like communism. And let me tell you where there's communism right now. The CCP in China. And guess what? In communism, there's one person or maybe a small group of people who decide how everybody's going to live. And I promise you, even if you're upset with the Roe versus Wade thing or whatever else you're upset about, you don't want to live in a society like that. Because once that power is out of your hand that you have right now, you don't get to say, if you really end up with this unity, blah, 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 like you really want, it's gonna backfire. It's gonna backfire in society. And this is why I think this is problematic. So I really just wanted to talk about this today. So I'm just checking my notes to make sure that I covered everything that I wanted to talk about. And the reason why I believe this is demonic as well, like this whole my body, my choice, it's not your choice, because first of all, there's a child in there who's not getting a choice. And there was a quote, I think it's from an old American president, if I'm not mistaken, who basically said, I find it interesting how all the people who are fighting for the right to kill a child or to terminate a pregnancy, because that's what we do, we cover up the evil things we do with lovely language, right? He said, I find it interesting that all the people who are fighting at this stuff have already been born. You even being able to fight back at this stuff, you being able to have a voice, is because your life was able to get to the point where you could understand what was happening and make a decision for yourself. And so the fact that we even say like my body, my choice, first of all, there's another choice of the child and there's another choice of the actual father, might I add, to that situation. And the more we as women ignore that, the more it's going to backfire. And I've said all I have to say. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like the video if you did like it. I know it's controversial. Y'all know I just keep it real over here. I try to keep it logical. I get why people have certain feelings and thoughts and whatever. I get it, okay? I'm not an alien. I'm a human being. I live here. I'm a woman. I have a womb, okay? I get it. I get why people would want to make some of these decisions. Not that I would do those decisions myself, but I understand. And I will just like to add quickly at the end, because a lot of people like to say, hey, but what happens if the person is being raped or whatever? I'll tell you this now, according to the statistics, I'm not sure if this is the UK or the US, but only 5% of the people who are looking for an abortion or something are actually doing it as a result of sexual assault, rape, and anything like that. The majority of others are not. And to the black community out there as well, I'll just tell you that we're actually aborting babies quicker than we're birthing babies. And so at the rate we're going to become extinct if we continue to behave in this particular manner. So if I were you guys, I'd really stop and think, not to mention the fact that in the Western world, we have so much exposure to contraception. So take some accountability for your flipping life. Stop trying to take the option of killing a child, right? And let's move on, and let's actually battle for the rights of everybody, the people who disagree with you and those unborn children. Because if you're saying that everybody has the right to freedom, everybody has the right to live the way that they feel authentically is for them, and that doesn't just apply to you, that applies to that unborn child, and that applies to the people who disagree with you. And on that note, God bless every single one of you, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.